Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a realistic extended body red quill mayfly. The hook that I'm using is a Demon Competition. This is a W633 barbless fly hook. This is a number 16. And the reason I'm using this is it's got a pretty large gap. This actually looks like more than a size 16, but it goes from the hook point. They size it from the hook point to the shank, so that's a size 16 there. And you can see you got a much more of a gap back here. It's a competition hooks. They like to have a nice something to bite into that fish with. The body that I'm going to use is a Frosty fly. Realistic extended mayfly body, and these are red brown. These are pretty good for the red quill. I'm going to use some Hemingway's 8/0 rusty brown thread. We're going to put a base of thread down. I'm going to come up to just about the point, maybe a little bit further, and we're gonna stop there. Now I took one of the bodies out of the package, and you can see there, you can see the tail isn't split all the way. You can just kind of just give it one of them. Put your finger in between it. And also, another thing that I did was I cut a slant on that quill. See how there's a little bit of a divot there? We're going to put that little bit of a divot right in there. And I'm kind of squeezing it around, and it kind of forms that divot even better. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little drop of glue. Just a very small amount right on that thread there. And this is going to help keep it from rotating. This is actually a foam body, which is going to be good if anything ever comes out of here. There we go. Just a very little bit is all we need. The foam body is going to help make it float, so that little bigger hook is actually an advantage there. And we're going to tie this in, and you see I made that taper, and now I got a nice taper on the going down to the hook shank. That little bit of red thread underneath there, that's going to secure really well. Now for the wings, I'm going to use Hemingway's. These are realistic mayfly wings too, and these are a tan color, or they match the wood duck pretty closely. Give you that nice, you got markings in there, and it's got that color to come close to a wood duck, the lemon wood duck. So I'm going to take one of these out, and you can see on here you have a shiny side and a dull side. We want the dull side to be on the outside of the wing, shiny side inside. And you can see they got a couple of tabs there. I'm going to go ahead and trim off most of that back tab. First I'm going to take it, and the shiny side is on the top, and I'm going to take this and fold these up. Just kind of match up the tips and then fold them. You don't want to squeeze them too hard, but I'm going to squeeze them together there. Now I got all of that big tab on the back there. I'm going to trim most of it off. Now when I tie these on, I'm going to get that front tab on there first. And you can trim the front tab if you find it's a little bit long. Then I'm going to come back to the, see that back tab is still a little bit long there, but I'm going to tie that on first. Getting that thread close to the wings itself when you pull them in. Give that a couple of wraps right there. Then I'm going to take my thread and do a figure 8 to separate them. And see what I did here. Actually, my tab came up between them. That's going to be alright though. So I won't have to cut that tab off. Going to keep my thread behind the wings. Now I'm going to take my hackle. I'm going to use a blue dun hackle. And although this is a size 16 hook, I'm not going to use a size 16 hackle. I'm going to use more of a 14 or a little bigger than a 14 hackle. I have my hackle. I have a hackle gauge here, and this is reading a little bigger than a 14, which I like, which is good. I'm going to prepare this. You can see the web in there. That web is mostly to right. Let me have my scissors here. The web kind of ends right here. See that web line right there? So I'm going to give this the crew cut. And your dry fly hackle, the amount of web you have on a dry fly hackle should be no more than 1/3 the length of the barbels. I'm going to give this the crew cut. I missed that altogether. So now you can see there's a little bit of web there, but it's less than 1/3 the length of the barbels. I'm going to tie this in. I'm going to put this between the wings and tie it in. Get that between the wings. Going to get a tight wrap. A couple of tight wraps right there. Have a little bit sticking out in front of the wing still, so I'm going to hold the wing. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that in. It looks like I grabbed a couple of barbels there. It's not hard to grab barbels when you're using these realistic wings. I'm going to have to put my hackle pliers on there. I'm going to wrap this. First thing I'm going to do is pull it to the front there a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bend. And then start the hackle wrap. And we don't have any hackles shooting out to the back. These wings are a little bit stiff. You have to make sure you use the proper size tippet, which would be a stronger tippet for this particular fly. And I'm going to give it one more wrap. I'm just turning it so I can see. Give it another wrap in back. And then I'm going to move to the front. Put a few wraps on that. There's a little bit of a gap between them. Not a real big deal. The fish aren't going to really matter. Going to really care. Just going to straighten out my wings as I'm going here. Going to take my whip finish. Go ahead and remove that thread. Take my nice scissors that I got from Frosty Fly, nice points on them, and I'm going to trim away those couple of hackles that are pointing out to the front. And put a little bit of head cement on that head. Clean my brush off really well. And these red quills are one of the first flies, one of the first decent sized mayflies to come off in the springtime. You could even see them if it's warm in March. In late March you can see them coming off at times. But April you're looking for red quills. Quill Gordons. I'm going to go ahead and put my finger between the tails once again. Just kind of split them a little better. And here we have a realistic red quill extended body mayfly. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. Please visit my sponsors, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.